The coffee was cold again. Zara Kowalski stared at the brown liquid in her paper cup. Third time tonight she'd forgotten to drink it while it was hot. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking, not from caffeine. From the envelope in her locker. The one with the red stamp that meant final notice. The one that meant Emma would have to change schools again. Pine Grove Medical Center at 2 a.m. was a different world. The fluorescent lights hummed their lonely song down empty corridors. Zara's footsteps echoed as she walked past room after room of sleeping patients. She'd been a nurse here for 8 years. Tomorrow would be her last shift. The county hospital offered more money. Night shifts only. Double overtime. It meant leaving Emma with neighbors more often, but the math was simple now. Stay here and lose the house. Move there and maybe keep their heads above water. Her phone buzzed. A text from her babysitter Delilah. Emma asked why you were crying. Again. What should I tell her? Zara didn't answer. She didn't know what to tell herself. Room 314 needed attention. Cornelius Ashworth, 83, admitted 3 days ago with pneumonia. No family listed. No visitors. Just an old man who spoke in whispers and thanked her for every small kindness. Can't sleep, Mr. Ashworth? Never could sleep in hospitals, dear. Too many memories. His voice carried an accent she couldn't place. Educated. Refined. But his clothes. When he'd arrived were worn thin, and he'd paid his bill in cash from a coffee tin. Would you like some water? Extra blanket? You're very kind. But I can see you're troubled tonight. Zara paused. Patients didn't usually notice when nurses were struggling. They were dealing with their own pain. I'm fine, Mr. Ashworth. Just tired. Tired and sad are different things, child. Something in his tone made her look at him more carefully. His eyes were sharp, alert. Kind but also knowing. Can I tell you something? He asked. Of course. I used to live in this town. Long time ago. Had a different life then. He reached into his bedside drawer and pulled out a faded photograph. A young man in a military uniform standing next to a woman in a white dress. Behind them, a house with a distinctive wraparound porch. That's the house on Maple Street. The blue one with the yellow shutters. You know it? Zara's breath caught. That's my house. I mean, we rent the apartment upstairs. Small world, he said softly. My wife and I lived there 47 years ago. Before I made the biggest mistake of my life. Outside, thunder rumbled. The storm was getting worse. Mr. Ashworth, you should rest. Rest will come soon enough. But first, can I ask you something? Sure. Do you believe people can change? Really change? The question hung in the air. Zara thought about Tom, her ex-husband, who'd promised to change 100 times before the gambling finally destroyed their marriage. She thought about her own father, who'd abandoned them when she was 12, promising he'd come back when he got his life together. I want to believe they can, she said finally. But wanting and believing aren't the same thing. Fair enough. Cornelius closed his eyes, but his breathing wasn't the rhythm of sleep. More like someone gathering courage. What if I told you that 47 years ago, a young man lived in that house with his pregnant wife? What if I told you he was scared of being a father, scared of responsibility, scared of turning out like his own father? Zara sat down in the chair beside his bed. Something was happening here, something important. What if I told you that young man had a chance at a job in California? Good money. Clean start. And what if he convinced himself his wife would be better off without him? Mr. Ashworth, what if he left her a note saying he'd be back in 6 months, when he had money saved? What if he meant it when he wrote it? His voice was breaking now. What if those 6 months turned into a year, then 2 years, then 5? What if every time he picked up the phone to call, he realized how much time had passed, how much he'd hurt her, how impossible it would be to explain? Zara felt tears starting. What if he was wrong? What if he was a coward who thought she was better off thinking he was dead than knowing he was alive and hadn't called? What happened to the wife? I don't know. I tried to find out, years later. Too many years later. The house had different owners. No forwarding address. No trace. And the baby? I don't even know if it was a boy or girl. Cornelius opened his eyes and looked directly at her. But I know the baby would be about your age now. The room seemed to tilt. Zara gripped the arms of her chair. My mother lived in that house, she whispered. Before I was born. She told me my father left before I was born. She said his name was Cornelius. The silence stretched between them like a bridge neither knew how to cross. What was your mother's name? Rebecca. Rebecca Chen. He made a sound like air leaving a punctured tire. Becca. My Becca with the laugh like music and hands that could fix anything. Zara's world was reorganizing itself around this impossible truth. She kept your picture. The one from your wedding. She told me you died in Vietnam. Easier than telling a little girl her father was a coward. She died 3 years ago. Cancer. Cornelius closed his eyes tight. When he opened them, tears were flowing freely. I don't deserve forgiveness. Not from her. Not from you. When I heard your name during shift change, when I saw you looked like her. I had to know. How did you know it was me? You have her hands. And her way of caring for people even when you're carrying your own pain. Zara stared at this man who was her father. This stranger who wasn't a stranger. She talked about you sometimes. When she thought I was asleep. She said you had kind eyes and that you used to read poetry to her belly when she was pregnant with me. William Blake. She loved William Blake. To see a world in a grain of sand, Zara recited. And a heaven in a wild flower, he finished. They sat in the electric silence of a world that had just shifted on its axis. Why now? She asked. Why are you here now? Because I'm dying. The words hit like a physical blow. The pneumonia? Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. The pneumonia is just a complication. I have maybe 2 weeks. Mr. Ashworth. Dad. The word felt foreign in her mouth. Cornelius. Or Neil. Whatever feels right to you. Why didn't you tell me yesterday? Or the day before? I was trying to figure out how. Whether I had the right to complicate your life with my truth. And now I'm watching you struggle the way your mother must have struggled. And I'm wondering if there's anything I can do to help. Any way to make up for 47 years of absence. Zara laughed, but it came out as a sob. I'm losing my house. Emma, my daughter, your granddaughter, we're going to have to move across town. I'm starting a new job tomorrow because I can't make ends meet here. What do you need? Time. Money. A miracle. She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. I need things you can't give me. Maybe I can. From his bedside drawer, he pulled out an envelope. Not a hospital envelope. Something personal, worn soft with handling. I never spent much money. Never had a family to spend it on. Never had a home to maintain. I've been living like a ghost for 47 years, putting money aside for a future I didn't think I deserved. What are you saying? I'm saying that blue house with the yellow shutters should belong to someone who loves it. Someone who has your mother's hands and your mother's heart. He held out the envelope. The deed is already being transferred. I had my lawyer handle it yesterday. The house is yours, free and clear. No mortgage. No rent. Yours. Zara's hands were shaking again, but differently now. I can't accept this. Yes, you can. Because it's not charity. It's not even a gift, really. It's me trying to give you what I should have given your mother 47 years ago. Security. Stability. A home. Why? Because I can't give you a father who was there for your first steps or your first day of school or your graduation. I can't give you a grandfather who taught Emma to ride a bike or helped her with homework. But I can give you peace of mind. I can give you a place to call home. The tears were coming fast now. She never stopped loving you. Mom. She never remarried. She always said you were the love of her life. I know. And that makes my leaving even worse. She would have forgiven you. If you'd come back, she would have forgiven you. Do you think so? I know so. Because she forgave you anyway. Without you even asking. They cried together in that hospital room, 47 years of pain and love and loss flowing between them. Tell me about Emma, he said finally. She's 8. She's brilliant. She loves science and horses and she asks a million questions a day. She's been worried about me lately. Kids notice everything. Does she know about me? I told her the same story. Mom told me that her grandfather died before she was born. Maybe that doesn't have to be the whole truth anymore. What do you mean? I mean maybe, for the next 2 weeks, she could have a grandfather. Maybe I could meet her. Maybe I could tell her stories about her grandmother. Maybe I could read her some William Blake. She'd like that. And maybe, when I'm gone, you could tell her the real story. About how people make mistakes, terrible mistakes, but love finds a way to heal things anyway. Dr. Patel knocked and entered. Sorry to interrupt, but I need to check on Mr. Ashworth. Of course. As the doctor checked his vitals, Cornelius squeezed Zara's hand. Will you bring Emma tomorrow? Yes. And will you let me buy her some books? Maybe a bicycle? The things grandfathers are supposed to do. Dad, you don't have to, I want to. I need to. I have 47 years of grandfather to squeeze into 2 weeks. Dr. Patel finished his examination. Everything looks stable for now. Try to get some rest. When they were alone again, Cornelius reached into his drawer once more and pulled out a small leather journal. I wrote to you every year on your birthday. Letters I never sent. 47 of them. They're all in here. Zara took the journal with trembling hands. And I wrote to Emma too. Every year since she was born. 8 letters for an 8-year-old girl I've never met but love because she's part of you. How did you know about Emma? I hired a private investigator 5 years ago. Not to intrude, just to know you were okay. To know if you were happy. To know if I had a granddaughter. Were you ever going to contact us? I told myself no. I told myself I'd forfeited that right. But then I got sick, and I realized I was about to make the same mistake twice. I was about to leave without saying goodbye. So you got yourself admitted here. Easiest way to meet you without disrupting your life. If you'd turned out to be bitter, angry, better off without me, I could have just been another patient. You'd never have to know. But I'm not better off without you. No. No. Emma and I, we need family. We need roots. We need to know where we come from. Your mother gave you roots. I can see her in everything you do. The way you care for people. The way you carry yourself. The way you love your daughter. She did good, didn't she? Raising me alone. She did perfect. Dawn was starting to creep through the hospital windows. Zara's shift was almost over. I should go. Emma will be waking up soon. Bring her tonight? I'll bring her tonight. As she stood to leave, Cornelius called her name. Zara? Yes? I know I don't have the right to be proud of you. I wasn't here to help make you who you are. But I want you to know, seeing the woman you became, the mother you are, the nurse who stays late to comfort scared old men, it makes me proud anyway. You can be proud. You're my father. That doesn't change because of the years we lost. Thank you. For what? For letting a coward find his way home. That evening, Zara brought Emma to the hospital. The little girl was shy at first, but Cornelius had a way with children. Within minutes, he was reading her poems about tigers and talking about her grandmother Rebecca, who could fix anything and laughed like music. Grandpa Neil, Emma said, using the name she'd chosen for him, Mommy says you're sick. Yes, sweetheart. Very sick. Will you get better? No, honey. I won't. That's sad. It is sad. But meeting you and your mommy isn't sad. That's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Mommy, can Grandpa Neil come home with us when he gets out of the hospital? Zara and Cornelius exchanged glances. We'll see, baby. But they both knew he wouldn't be leaving the hospital over the next 12 days. Zara brought Emma to visit every evening. Cornelius read to her, told her stories, and listened to her chatter. About school and friends and the science project she was working on about the solar system. He bought her the bicycle he'd promised. And books. So many books that they filled 2 bags. On the 11th day, he could barely keep his eyes open, but he insisted on finishing The Tiger for Emma one more time. On the 12th day, he asked Zara to bring the deed to the house. I want to see you sign it. I want to know it's really yours. Dad, you should rest. I'll rest when I know you're home. Really home. On the 13th day, Emma made him a card at school. A picture of 3 stick figures holding hands in front of a blue house with yellow shutters. My family, written in purple crayon across the top. Cornelius cried when she gave it to him. On the 14th day, he died peacefully in his sleep, with Zara holding one hand and Emma holding the other. At his funeral, which Zara arranged at the small church near their house, the pastor read from William Blake. The same poem Cornelius had been reading to Rebecca's belly 47 years ago. To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wild flower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. Afterward, as they walked through their front door, really their front door now, Emma asked, Mommy, are you sad Grandpa Neil died? Yes, baby. Very sad. But are you happy we met him? Yes. Very happy. Me too. He said love is bigger than time. What do you think that means? Zara looked around the living room of the house where her mother had lived. Where she'd been born, where her father had loved and left and found his way back to. I think it means that even when people make mistakes, even when they're apart for a long time, love finds a way to bring them home. That night, after Emma was asleep, Zara sat in the kitchen and opened the leather journal. 47 letters. To a daughter he'd never met, 8 letters to a granddaughter he'd only just found. The first letter was dated the day after he'd left. My dear Zara, today you are 1 day old, and I am already missing you. I tell myself I'm doing the right thing, giving you and your mother a chance at a better life. But holding this pen, I realize I'm not leaving for you. I'm leaving because I'm scared. Forgive me. I love you. Dad. The last letter was dated 3 weeks ago. My dear Zara, tomorrow I go to the hospital where you work. Tomorrow I try to find the courage I should have had 47 years ago. If you're reading this, it means love really is bigger than time. It means second chances are real. It means home is where your family is, even if it takes a lifetime to find your way back. I love you. I'm proud of you. Welcome home. Dad. Outside, October wind rattled the yellow shutters of the blue house on Maple Street. Inside, Zara closed the journal and smiled through her tears. Love was bigger than time, and they were finally home.